I declare the meeting open at 10:02. I advise that Council will be recording this meeting via audio-video link to be webcast and available on the internet. As such, all those present should refrain from making any defamatory statements. Can I ask that all councillors during the duration of the meeting limit discussion to only the business on the agenda and what is permissible under the Code of Meeting Practice? You could all stand for the opening prayer. Lord, we pray for the blessing on this council meeting. Grant that we discuss all matters with understanding and have wisdom in our decisions, that they will be done through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia, and in particular the Gomeroi people of the Kamilaroi Nation, and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Council acknowledges the sacrifices made by Australian servicemen and women, in particular those who gave their lives in the defence and freedom that we enjoy today. First item this morning is a recommendation one that Council approve for Councillor Lisa Richardson to attend the meeting by audio-visual link. Can I have a mover on that one, please? A seconder?
Mr Mayor, can I ask a question through you to the General Manager in relation to this agenda that we've received? It's not listed anywhere here. I understand how extraordinary meetings work, that you deal with the business that's on the agenda, but normally for extraordinary meetings in the agenda you have it listed the prayer, acknowledgement of country, recognition of servicemen and women, apologies, declaration of pecuniary interest, items to be considered in confidential. Then you go to the item. This item starts at 7. And given that you've passed, Council has passed, and I wasn't here present last meeting, the virtual attendance of councillors, that should be listed here too, should it not? That's a clarification through you to the General Manager, please.
General Manager.
It's possibly true, but it doesn't affect the running of the meeting. It probably should have attended. It should have appeared on the agenda. But again, it's on the agenda. The attendance by item 4A is the attendance. So I don't know what the issue is.
Well, and the reason why I ask is normally, given that this item's here now, there's an explanation in there what we do. If you look at the ordinary meeting later on today, there's about 5 or 6 pages.
Councillor, we're aware of all of that. I'm reading off the information I was given here. We can move on in this situation quite comfortably. We'll put a motion forward, put a recommendation forward. I've got one. Do I have a seconder on that one? Councillor Richardson? There's a seconder?
Yep. Love to second that, thank you.
Motion. All those in favour?
No, Mr Mayor, point of order. Speakers for or against?
Okay, sorry, I apologise for that.
You've been rattled, Mr Mayor?
No, not a bit rattled, just been fairly busy, Councillor, that's all.
Oh, and we're not?
Any speakers for or against the motion?
Well, you can go first if you like. I was just going to ask a question, Mr Mayor, in relation to us moving through the agenda. Are we going to deal with apologies?
Once we get down, if it hasn't popped up on here.
Isn't that normally the first item?
Yeah, well, it is, Councillor. I'm sorry, I'm just reading off a document here
that should have been on the agenda.
That wasn't. It isn't situated there. I've got a declaration of pecuniary interest that's coming up. I've got councillor apologies as well that's coming up, but we need to get the councillor on board as soon as possible. So those things you're talking about are coming up with pecuniary interest, with apologies, etc.
Can I assist? The reason it appears after this item for apologies is if that person is not allowed into the meeting, they are classified as apologies. So you've got to make the decision about whether they're allowed to join prior to them being acknowledged as apologies if they can't join.
Well,
we just need to include, Councillor, we just need to include the councillor before we go through the whole process. so that councillor who's on audio video link will obviously be the first thing cut off the rank, so that they can then participate in apologies, declarations of pecuniary interest, etc. So we need to get them on board straight up, whether they're on board or not on board. So that's the reasoning behind this.
So, point of clarification, what is the motion, Mr Mayor? That it's normally in the agenda?
The recommendation that council approve Councillor Lisa Richardson to attend the meeting by audio-visual link. It's in the agenda as at 4.4A.1. Is that correct?
No, we're in a confidential meeting here. I've got an agenda, all I've got's item 7.
Is this necessary, councillor?
Absolutely.
Is it necessary?
Totally, Mr Mayor, totally.
Let's just get on with the business of council and vote either yea or nay for Councillor Richardson to be on video link and move forward with this meeting.
The bottom line is, Mr Mayor, that at this juncture, and this was debated previously about this is going to be an issue, at this juncture, council determines whether the councillor who's on video link gets to be allowed to enter the meeting. Is that correct? So if that is correct, what was the mover? What was the motion that was moved? It's not up anywhere here for us to have a look at. I don't know what's going on here.
You got anything to say? Sitting on the screen there. There's a recommendation that council approved. It's not on the agenda as your issue.
No, it should be on the screen so we can see what the motion is, Mr Mayor. It's normal practice.
No, we've just got to split it up on there if we can. Okay, so there's a technical difficulty. Normally we would have the motion sitting up on the...
I don't know, you ask the question, just keep asking the question.
And I can't see that screen. So there is obviously a technical difficulty that we can't split the screen and have the motions up there as well as Councillor Richardson up there. So first time we've done it, we've got a hiccup. That's about it. That's about all it is. So.
Through you, Mayor, if I may, to the General Manager, I'm just wondering about the correctness of the process where a person would second a motion that they be accepted into the meeting. Is that, because that person has not yet been accepted, we have not actually voted for it? Correct. Can that person second, or can that councillor second a motion?
Through the General Manager to the...
Thank you.
Through the Chair, clause 5.23 of the Code of Meeting Practice says that a councillor who's requested approval to attend the meeting by audio-visual link may participate in the meeting by AV link until the council determines whether to approve their request at the meeting by AVL. The councillor may participate in a decision in relation to their request to attend the meeting by audio-visual link. So yes, until and unless council resolves to not allow that councillor to attend by AV link, they're permitted to participate in that process.
And they've only participated in the opening prayers and acknowledgement of country before they're put into the meeting.
I was just checking on we have the right process.
Okay, any further comment for or against the motion? Councillor Clements and Councillor Dickinson, we've just moved the motion or the recommendation of council approve Councillor Lisa Richardson to attend the meeting by audio-visual link. So she has been here, as you've just heard, through the opening prayers. This is our first cab off the rank with this. And we can't split it on there apparently. That'll be rectified next meeting, I suppose.
Sorry, I'm moving the motion. Can I speak, Chair? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I? So I'm just going to read out the motion. The motion is that council approve for Councillor Lisa Richardson to attend the meeting, which is this meeting, by audio-visual link. So that's that. It's moved by me and it's seconded by Councillor Lisa Richardson, who is allowed to participate up until we make a decision. So I'll get my 5 minutes to talk about this. Lisa's just given birth only a few days ago, a week and a bit ago. And I strongly think that we need to be supporting someone who's just literally gone through what is, a pretty tough process. I don't think it's fair on the council to force a councillor to come in here and with baby in tow, etc., when she's just recently given birth. So it's with my strong support that we as councillors should be basically trying to support, particularly women in this organisation who want to go about doing their job, which is to represent the Shire. So I strongly encourage you to vote on it.
Councillor Bowen, you've already spoken. I'll pass it over to Councillor Clements.
I asked for a point of clarification. I have not spoken to the motion.
For or against the motion?
I have not spoken for or against the motion. I was just asking for a
Okay, continue,
clarification there.
Councillor.
Thank you.
I said you can continue if you like.
Look, I'll be just. My inclination is to vote against this because I voted against this motion when it was against this policy when it was originally planned. So it would be incumbent on me to continue that process. I simply don't believe, after a lot of extensive thought about this, that a councillor who is not at the meeting should not actually participate in this. And I voted against it using those terms, and there is a very long history of democratic meetings occurring where councillors and members of parliament and so on have to be present in order to represent their community. So I don't discount the fact that councillors do represent their community, but I believe anyway, that they need to be present in the chamber in order to do that.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Clements.
I rise to speak against the motion. It doesn't matter who the councillor is or what their circumstance is. I don't agree with councillors not attending meetings. I think it changes the tone of the meeting. And already we are struggling in this meeting, and we will continue to struggle all day if we cannot see a screen for motions. I just don't think this is a good idea. Nothing personal to the councillor involved. Understand her circumstances. It doesn't matter what the circumstances or who the councillor is. I don't agree with councillors not attending meetings in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Well, obviously it will be an issue each and every time because, generally when you pass a motion in council, it's accepted by council and accepted as a set of circumstances by council, but everyone has their own opinion on that one. But any further comment for or against the motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I would like to speak for it.
Well, you can speak up, Councillor. I have no fear of
Thank you
that.
very much. Thank you. I agree with the comments, Mr. Mayor. I'm against the motion, and I agree with the comments from the two councillors that have spoken, because I've been against this from day dot, and I wasn't at the last meeting when it went out on exhibition and came back to council, and we're just beaten on sheer numbers, which derides the whole purpose of democracy and the arguments and the face-to-face and the body language and the mess that we've started with this morning here. You miss all of that. And I did make the statement, and I think I might have offended the councillor at the time, that this looked like to be a personal thing. That wasn't where I was coming from, because each time it's going to be a personal thing. I could have attended meetings, last meeting virtually if I needed to, if that was the case at the time, but I don't believe that's the process. The process is that we come together on behalf of our community. You're our leader, and in your absence, the Deputy Mayor is the other leader, and by good means or bad, it's a numbers game, and you're elected to lead us. So this meeting is a forum of democratic standing that's been around from day dot, and it should be held that way. Thank you. I'll be voting against it.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, Lisa's been trying to speak for quite a while now.
Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me clearly?
Microphone on. Yeah, we've got you now. Got you now.
Thank you. So, as a seconder, I should have spoken well before now.
Sorry.
It's my belief that when council passes a motion, regardless of your individual view, if council passes that motion, it becomes council's view. We did that. I was not present. Council said that audio-visual link has passed. So those with an individual view, it should be gone now. If you'd like to bring it up in another 6 months when you're able to, that is fine. But council determined audio-visual link is available for those who represent their community, have their vote, which is how we have our voice heard. I think it is important that as our first female to have a baby in a Narrabri Australian council, those who
Excuse, Councillor Richardson. I'll have no interjections or comments from the floor when a councillor is speaking. Continue on, councillor.
Thank you. So for those to go against what council has already agreed to, and it's now a policy, I find it very disrespectful to any woman in our shire, any woman who would like to run for council in the next election, any councillor who perhaps if they run and get in, that they feel they can't have a family and be in a council position. So unfortunately, I am not attending Narrabri for medical reasons, and that reason is the birth of a child. It is less than 2 weeks old. I cannot leave the home for up to 10 hours today. I'm doing the meeting by audio-visual link as approved by council in the July ordinary council meeting. So there should be no issue because a personal view now of this should not be discussed. That is how it is run.
Point of order.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you, councillor. Well said.
Point of order.
Councillor.
My point of order is, if we have no choice, if we have no decision in this, why are we voting on it? Clearly, the policy says it is a day-by-day proposition. That's what the policy says. I've made no personal affirmations. Wouldn't matter who the councillor is, and I object to this being characterised as an attack on a person for personal reasons. I object to that. My point of order is, our policy says we make this decision each time it's requested. That's our policy.
Thank you, councillor. Yes, it is our policy, and the policy has, if councillor Richardson doesn't fit that policy that we've presented, and that's purely and simply for extraordinary circumstances, as we discussed and as we debated at that previous meeting with this motion that we passed. Councillor Richardson is fair and reasonable in what she said, because this is an extraordinary situation. If her circumstances don't fit the fact that she can go on audio-visual link, nothing will. So anyway, we've had the discussion on it here and now. You've had your time.
I agree.
I'll put the motion to the mover of the motion. Have you got any final thing to say? Okay, well, I'll put the motion. All those in favour for Councillor Richardson to attend via audio-visual link. All those in favour, raise your hands. Against? Casting vote.
You don't need a casting vote. Don't interject for me. Well, it's up to him to tell me. Of course, it's not your right.
Okay, we don't need a casting vote. Fine. Motion carried. Okay, so I have no apologies today. Councillors are reminded of their, item 5, councillors are reminded of their obligation to declare their interest in any matter listed before them. In considering your interest, you are reminded to include pecuniary, non-pecuniary and conflicts of interest, as well as any other interest you perceive or may be perceived of you. Councillors may declare an interest in the commencement of the meeting, or alternatively at any time during the meeting should any issue progress or arise that would warrant a declaration. Councillors must state their reasons in declaring any type of interest. Okay. Items to be considered in confidential closed public meeting. The following matters will be considered in closed public meeting is item 7.1, 2021-2022 draft annual financial statements. So I put the motion, we'll move into closed council meeting. Councillor Clements, Councillor Redding. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried.